Back in 2016, I achieved my lifelong dream of becoming a published author, and soon after, I realized the true struggle all authors have in finding book reviews. While I'm incredibly proud of what I've achieved as an indie author over the years, I am just as proud of the indie books I've discovered and reviewed in that time also, because reading to me is everything. The escapism, the stories, the immersion, and even the magic that reading can be has brought me so much over the years, and so supporting fellow indie authors has become a duty, just like my dedication to the written word. While I don't consider myself a hero, I do consider myself a proud supporter of indie authors, and this is one of my many platforms to showcase that. Welcome to Talking Indie Books with Lee Hall, an opportunity for me to showcase some of the wonderful indie books I've been reading. For this first episode, I will be covering two indie books I have read in recent times, and they are both memoirs. Memorable memoirs, in fact. Let us dive in. First up is Raw, a memoir by Australian author and artist Damien Linane, whom I have known for some years, and Damien first approached me in search of a review for his debut thriller, Scarred. We've exchanged plenty of emails over the years and discussed lots of different subjects from our experiences with book promotion and the general industry of being an indie author. In Raw, Damien presents his unique story in a brutally honest way, and I was very much looking forward to this account for a number of reasons, but firstly because of our personal connection, and also because a huge part of his story is the fact he spent some time in prison where he pursued writing and art and basically turned things around, so his story to me always seemed compelling. As from my recent written review, Raw is a brilliantly written, honest account that isn't afraid to shy away from real-life issues, and Damien shares so much from his early life and childhood, which was full of trauma and abuse. It soon flows into his young adult life, where two recurring themes of mental health and education are talked about frequently. Linane, no matter how dark things seem to get, is always driven to keep going and succeed. In that regard, it's an uplifting story of one person facing a lot of odds and eventually finding better things. Every chapter within the book is compelling and makes for compelling and inspirational reading that anyone can get something from. Of course, Damien covers the reasons as to why he was sent to jail for vigilante action, and even then, he keeps going. He keeps chasing the opportunities that are available to him to make things better in life. There are plenty of positive messages within Raw, even if the story does face difficult subjects. It's done really well. And I shall finish with one of the many great quotes found within. Bad situations always present a silver lining. You can find my full review linked below, and my rating for this one is 5 stars. And as an added extra, you shall find a recent interview I conducted with Damien linked below also. Next up, we have a memoir with a different flavour, but a similar message of not giving up, alongside the theme of 90s nostalgia. 3.5 Minutes of Fame by Alex Boucher follows Alex and his time spent as an indie musician throughout the 90s, and succeeds in capturing the times, the feelings, the emotions, and most importantly, the memories Alex has from his journey in indie bands, and generally living the life of a young rock star. 3.5 Minutes serves as a time capsule and love letter to the memories of a wonderful time. As someone who was a little younger than Alex during the 90s, I still remember it in a similar way, with that same lens of fondness for those times. This memoir covers plenty of ground, from the politics of what it's like to be in a band, to getting signed, and even the immersive view of gig life. This one also comes with plenty of famous or even niche name drops, with each year of the 90s being bookended by a playlist of popular or meaningful songs to our narrator, and also what's happening in popular culture of each year. Every so often, the chapters are broken up by press cuttings, artwork, posters, photos, and much more to place you right there. And as I read this book in digital, it's still present and effective on the Kindle screen as well. If you are a fan of indie music, or even the 90s, you'll find something here to engross you in a journey of a musician well-travelled, and even quite successful in my eyes. To be able to experience what Alex experienced is a story that is both uplifting and inspiring. As someone who has spent some time on the Amdram stage, 3.5 Minutes of Fame is a love letter to so much, and especially performing. And my favourite quote is this: "There's something special about being in a band that's hard to describe. You're surrounded by a collective aura, and it never feels complete unless we all members are in the room." You can find my full review linked below, and of course my rating for this one was 5 stars. So that wraps up this first episode of Talking Indie Books with Lee Hall. I'd like to thank you for joining me, and of course, if you're reading something right now, remember to leave a review. Peace out, rock and roll, and reading indie books, man.